Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie Richardson. Today, I am going to do a tarot reading for this week. This is pre-recorded. Usually I do lives, but because I am on a cruise at the moment, I've pre-recorded this before. So I'm going to just start off with the general reading and keep going for once instead of doing the free chat bar readings that I normally do. So it's going to be more of an hour-long reading. We might get into the month of March and April. I think that's a good idea just to bring in that energy as well. But since it's going to be for an hour, we'll see what happens anyway and what my guides want to say for the week of 14th of March and onwards. Let's see where this goes, right? If anyone doesn't already know, I have just, well, a couple of weeks now it would be by the time this is published, put up a video, hidden messages within fairy tales. So go check that out. Hidden messages within Snow White, Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty. Go check that out. It's a really good video full of messages, not all the messages, obviously. It would take me a while. This is just part one, and there's so much more I'm sure is going to come out of that because I really enjoyed creating it. And my team and I were quite happy to do that. So also I have classes on every Monday. Last class, I tried something completely new that was on the 6th of March. So the following one would be in 14 days, so that'll bring it to the 20th of March would be the following one that's coming up for you to book at. It's $20 a class. On the 6th of March, I did remote viewing. The remote viewing one was really cool because I literally just got off the couch from channeling that through, and it was full on information. And then they asked me to do a meditation into the remote viewing so that you can fall into that alignment and then remote view yourself. So really exciting things coming up for those classes. We're going to get into telepathy. We're going to get into telekinesis, premonition, dreams, all sorts of different juicy, yummy stuff, whatever they bring up. So that we can start igniting these new gifts that are coming our way. The more we clear, the more we have space to ignite these new gifts and ignite the DNA within the body. So really excited about those classes. Let's get into this reading. Please like and subscribe, by the way, if you want more of those messages for the week starting Tuesday, 14th of March and beyond. They're showing me an image of a tree. They're showing me an image of a tree where it's actually quite an old tree, where branches are coming off it, almost starting to turn into the veins of inside of us. And the connection to that. And new growth happening, but not via the usual process of coming from the branches, but coming from the trunk, where a whole new emergence happens. Where we have to replant. It's almost like replanting a whole new reality. Okay, I'm just going to see what the cards say anyway for, I know that sounds a bit wishy-washy, but had to be said. Let's see what else happens anyway. We've got a couple of cards that's fallen. We have the flowering. I just saw a tree, and interesting. And the mind. And it was funny because at the beginning of when I was shuffling, I saw the tree like veins, but they were old. And I see that as the mind card. The old stories are now starting to fall away from us. For those that have done the inner work and the shadow work, we're no longer interested in the old stories anymore. It's getting boring, honestly. It's kind of like going on Netflix and seeing, okay, what's new in the sci-fi world? And you just see more and more gloomy, zombie, vampire-ish sci-fis, and there's nothing new, and it's getting boring. That story's getting boring. And so we're turning our backs on the mind and what it's held in those neuron paths of our brain and what it's held for eons and, you know, for all of our lives, and going, time to shift it up. So we're branching into flowering something completely new here, and bringing me to the lotus. Oh, interesting. They're showing me the lotus when it was used in Egyptian times. They literally used the blue lotus as a kind of psychedelic to lift the person into more connection to their soul, bringing that through. They became their true value of themselves, and the females would dance like they were goddesses. Yeah, interesting. So we'll keep going with this and see where we're going. And also getting this kind of a pressure in the back of my neck here, as I'm talking about that. So there might be some sort of, oh, it feels better now, some sort of tension around this whole shift. It's a big shift. It's not, and the pressure can feel a little overwhelming sometimes when we step into these new energies of taking reign of creating our own reality. We are the bird, and it's coming in reverse, but I'm not going to read it like that. The burden is the card of carrying the whole world on your shoulders and feeling like when you have the whole world on your shoulders and you move through life like that, even though it's impossible to fix every single problem that you foresaw outside of yourself, or that came to your attention outside of yourself. There news and programs, and you're to blame for this and that, and you have to save the world, and you have to do all this. It takes you on this journey where you are focused in only on the problems, and even though you cannot fix them all, it becomes anxious. You become anxious and you become tired. Look at this person here, how tired he is. He's carrying, you know, those that have told you to go this way. And he's just tired. And here's this crow on the top of this person, almost like screaming, you know, his alarm. And what do the crows do? They wake up everybody. So it's almost like he's on top of both of you, you know, the person who's leading or guiding you, and you, to say, wake up, guys. You've got it all wrong here. In other words, let go of this person and how he's directing you. You'll feel lighter. This person will have to take responsibility for his own creation instead of controlling you and feeling like if he can control you, he is important. And the crow is waking us up. So yeah, that's what I see in that with the burden, and releasing the burden to allow this newness to happen. We have possibilities. The possibilities card come out, seeing things from a new perspective, no longer being involved so much, because you can see beyond the involvement and feel into being the observer. And the rebel, wow, like the rebel card is a card of, I'm going to do it and I'm doing it my way. And I'm breaking these chains. See how he has the chains down here and they're broken and his foot's just snapped right through them. They're the chains I would call the chains of the devil card, where the devil is like locked you in to their reality and told you you're only important if you do what he says. And you've broken that chain with this foot and just gone, no, I'm not doing it your way anymore. I can see where you're lacking in trying to control me by making yourself feel good. I'm not doing it your way anymore. And I'm taking back, and even though it feels almost anxious within me to take responsibility for myself and where I'm going and how I'm thinking and what I'm creating, and what actions I do towards that creation, even though I'm nervous about this, I was already having a terrible time being the victim to your life anyway. I was already tired anyway. I might as well use the energy that I have to drop you and take responsibility for my own life. So yes. This is really this year. This is like this whole year is going to be in understanding. And there's moments in this year, and I feel March, April is a very big moment for us to take this deep breath and try this, and really plunge ourselves into experiencing it, experiencing some newness, having a go at manifesting what you want to bring into your life, challenging ourselves through the experience of being responsible again. Okay, so I'll get a actual tarot deck and see what else comes through. We have the Two of Coins, and I want me to talk a bit about this one. I don't know what I'm going to say yet. Okay, so the Two of Coins or Two of Pentacles, Sarah is holding them almost in an unbalanced way. It's unbalanced, but he has his leg up to bring balance. The only way to bring balance into this is to move forward. So as he moves forward, that one will go down, this one will come up. I'm literally seeing the movement of this person. It's showing me the movement of this person as he balances. And this is where we're going from one aspect of ourselves to another and trying these things out. Okay, I'm going to ground it. Okay, I'm going to bring in the intuition and shift it. Okay, I don't like that. My imagination needs to play a part. Okay, now I'm seeing where I'm going. I'm going to ground that. I'm going to go full force ahead and take responsibility for me trying something completely new here. That sort of thing. The Two of Pentacles is a balancing game, and we are in the middle of this balancing game. When we first start off with this balancing game, it really will feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall. Oh my gosh, I'm going to fall over, and I'm not going to make it. And then you catch yourself and so forth. Until there's going to be a point where, okay, now I get it. I can actually move through life like this. And it's okay. I'm not going to fall over. I know this now. I'm going to catch before it gets out of balance completely. And I'm just going to keep on rocking from my intuitive side, creating, and my logical side, bringing it and grounding it into this reality and doing the action towards it. The intuitive side creating, and we're constantly doing this, moving through these vibrations that they're showing me like a DNA spiral, and everything is in movement, right? There's not one thing that isn't. Even the sun spirals, and the planets spiral around the sun, spiraling just like our DNA. We're all in this movement game. It's when we become stagnant in a lockdown of our own minds of repeating the same problem over again, that we're in a circle that never gets out of, because you still have to have movement, but you never seem to get out of the same loop. And this is to move out of the loop and into more adventure. We need to break the imbalanced logical mind taking over, trying to grasp from the past and project in the future, and trusting back into our leap of faith. Okay, now they're also telling me, they realize that this is similar messages over and over, but this is how we get you to change your neuron paths as well, because the game is the game, right? Now, if we want to get into the world and where it's going with all of this, there's understanding even on the side of those that were leading you, that they can't stay in that position for much longer. So in the worldview, there's going to be some shifting of power through the fall of the deception coming through, where humanity is the people who are rising up and not being victim to this anymore. The ones that are falling are going to have to then find their place within the structure of humanity rising up to not be a victim anymore. And it's only through love that we can acknowledge that we have to take responsibility for the fact that we decided to be victim to their persecution. They could only control or force us to do something if we complied to it anyway. And as far as we comply, the more that they can do that. So we're talking family members, we're talking anything outside, more than that. But it still comes down to you not being the victim to your life anymore. And then we can all raise our cup of emotional awareness of ourselves, and fill our own emotions up with heart-based scenarios where we're creating exactly what we desire. They're bringing me to that dove that's flying into the cup of emotions with the pentacle. It's the abundance also flows through us as well when we start to understand that we have authority over how we feel, and with that comes peace as well. The bird of peace, or taking us, showing me the boat, the ark. Where all the animals were 2 by 2, and then the dove was the one that showed them where the land was. The peacefulness is the one that shows us where the land is. Now, so that means the inner peace of ourselves, and coming to understand that we can no longer blame anyone outside of ourselves but us for being where we were. And then the peace comes with that. And then, but also the understanding of how we are to never fall into that same predicament again. Whenever we see someone that's coming at us through lies and deception, we can feel it so massively that we just go no to them, and then move through life in a much better way. So that's the first card, is the Ace of Chalice. And in the tarot, that is a new beginning, a brand new start as well. So we've got the choice of our own demise, of how we're going to put this into balance, brings us to emotional stability. And then look at the Knight of Wands, moving into taking the action and doing what we need to do to get through the next stage. You know, creating the beautiful businesses that you always wanted to, that was outside the so-called box of the norm. Trusting that those that don't understand, even family members or all that, if they fall away, they are supposed to. Your family becomes unified in the frequency that you are aligned with. And so your family becomes those that are in understanding of your vibrational meet, and that becomes a soul core family. It's not to say that those members in your blood family cannot be helped. They will be maybe seeing you from as an observer point of view, that you are flourishing where they are not anymore, and then they will open the door of trying to understand how you did that, and asking a few questions, and with the love of who you are and understanding that you're creator of your reality, you can have self-acceptance and saying to them, hey, even though you weren't in alignment there, if you're ready to open the door, I'm here to share. But as soon as I see one indication of you trying to manipulate or use me in this, I close that door again. And it's not until I decide whether I want to open that again or not. So you need to be able to put the brakes on and say who comes into your life and who doesn't. And then you become the Knight of Wands, where you can move forward very quickly into the life that you want, and trusting the game that more and more people are going to be wanting or magnetizing to your energy, because you're standing in your own power. That fell with the Three of Chalice, which is as soul family, right? Soul family coming in. I didn't even put that 2 and 2 together, but yeah, now I do logically. So the soul family starts to unify and come together and become the force to be reckoned with, so to speak, in this new paradigm of creating our reality unified together, because we're unified within ourselves and trusting who we are as we move forward. It's a celebration too. Three of Chalice is celebrations, saying, wow, we've done it, we've got there, we've actually creating, we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We can literally move through that light and see and ground what we really wanted to ground. The gifts are rolling in. Yeah, so a really nice feeling of the river flowing faster, where the boulders are now crumbling of your own limitations. And where that takes us is a never-ending story, a never-ending story. So we have the Seven of Wands in reverse that's just flowing out, and the Fool in reverse as well. So the Seven of Wands in reverse is time. In upright, this would be time for battle, time for moving forward and protecting who you are and saying no. In reverse, it is understanding that you've always, for me, it is the feeling I'm getting is understanding that you've always had the power to say no. And you didn't even need to pick up the wand anymore. You don't even need to have the fight going on in your life anymore to prove yourself. You just strictly go, nah, and you don't feel guilty, not for 1 minute, about how you protect your reality, that you are worthy of being you and moving through your life as this worthiness, right? A couple with the Fool in reverse is almost like, I don't know if I can jump off this proverbial cliff into this unknown thing. It's, wow, it's a lot to ask for me to do this. So there might be a circumstance that where you're feeling more and more and more and more tense in your reality until because if we're like at the top of a cliff holding on, right, and we're not the fool that just goes, I trust, we're like, I've got to hold on to my reality. What happens is your hands get tight, your body gets tight, you get tired, you're like, how long can I do this for? I want out of this world. I want to leave this planet. When am I going to be saved? All of that sort of stuff. But it's also a understanding that the fall does literally jump off the cliff, and that once you release through faith and trust of yourself, not through fear, which will only lead you into more cliffs to be hanging on to, you will actually come to a realization it was actually your own wanting to protect everything that created the tension in your life. It was actually you not wanting to move forward, or being afraid to move forward, or afraid to take that leap of faith into something new, that actually caused you the tension that made you feel tired or wanting to escape this reality. So yeah, it's actually you that created the problem. Look on the bottom of the deck is the Temperance card. It's the card of balance, which was like the first card here, wondering whether we can balance. And now we've gone into the overall feeling is balance. We are literally learning to step into temperance of ourselves, learning to become the angelic light bearer, the one that walks on this planet with strength of knowing who we are at every given moment. And the horns are really standing out for me, like an understanding that you can sound your horn, you can become you can become even louder than you, and tell the rest of the world of this, so that they can have an understanding of their own empowerment as well. Right underneath that, look at that, is the four of wands as well, which is the 1111 card, and the card of manifesting what we truly desires. Well, you're always manifesting everything that you feel, but it's a card that brings you into truly desiring certain things, and then allowing that to come into be grounded into this reality. We've also the soulmate card again, so bringing in that energy of unification again. So really we're starting to ramp this up. This is starting to ramp up now. Feeling, seeing things grounded, seeing gifts coming your way. If you are not seeing in an actual physical way, it's just literally because you are still holding on to that proverbial cliff of what happens if I do honestly trust myself 100% in this game of life. Yeah. So see what else we've got here. I've somehow packed up all of these, so I think we are going to get into the more oracle messages now, and see what comes out for those. So this deck is Energy and Spirit deck. I'll show you the cover. Oh, my candle got too close, so I burnt a little. It's Energy and Spirit Oracles, and they are by Sandra and Taylor. If you want to look them up and purchase them. Let's see what these cards have to say offer for this week and beyond. I'm feeling excited, but I'm also feeling excited in a way of that's not, it's really interesting. It's like I'm excited for the future, but it's in this kind of ordinary feeling of course it's going to happen, and understanding that of course it's going to happen. And so when it happens, it's not that is exciting as what you predicted, because you were already in that energy of course it's going to happen. So, and then it's an understanding that whatever energies play out or come your way, that you can navigate through them a lot easier, because you are not pointing your finger and grasping outside of you to blame that person, which you can never control that person outside of you. They'll do what they're going to do, but you can navigate through that and go, you know what, don't need that. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. You know, and never be feeling guilty about you standing up for yourself. I hope that this mic's pretty close to these cards. I hope it's not too loud. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Wow. Okay. Whew. This is beautiful. Look at this again. We have the balance card. Soulful appreciation, heartfelt gratitude. And once we come into that position of feeling as light as a feather within ourselves, of knowing who we are, it is when the abundance starts to show up. As we move through life, just literally from our hearts, and understanding that we don't even need to lean on our partners. We don't need to lean on anyone anymore. And we couldn't. We thought we could, and we used them to make us feel better in a moment. But they were, whenever they pulled their energy away, which no one can be there 100%, you were left with this gaping hole, and then you point the blame at them. And so when we bring it back to us and becoming light as a feather within our heart and moving through our lives, we're not relying on them. We desire to be with them, and they desire to be with us. That's different. But it's a collaboration, a unification of the heart and the soul. It's a knowing that you're supposed to do this journey, or this part of the journey, together. And it's a much stronger marriage as well than the so-called writing on a piece of paper and trying to make it work by leaning on each other all the time and then falling over. Interesting. Soulful appreciation, understanding you, and having such a great relationship with yourself that you bring in the desired outcome in abundance that you really wished for. And then the next one is your eternal spirit, higher self, sacred intuition. OMG, this is beautiful. How much does this fold into what I've been talking about? Us stepping into our higher selves more. We are becoming and understanding that we are more than just our physical bodies. And when you do have an understanding that you're more than your physical body, you are literally opening these doorways to unended possibilities of what your imagination can bring through, that your logic can say yes to as well. It's unending. So then we can start to push the envelope, so to speak, outside of the box, and bring in these gifts that we've always from birth known we've kind of had. And each one of us has more of an understanding of one gift or another. Whether, you know, you're someone who can telekinetically levitate things, or be telepathic, or whatever. Once you have that ability within yourself, you're no longer in that manner controlled by any outside force. It comes from within you. You don't need a device. You don't need anything. No one can take it away from you, because it is you. It's part of you. You are the eternal spirit. Let's see what else comes up for this week. Wow. I love this reading. Prosperity, abundance, and success. Look at this. Self-appreciation is a butterfly that's as light as a feather. You know that saying, light as a feather. And the balance of you being so light within yourself and understanding who you are brings in this balance of abundance on your outside world. And then we have prosperity, where you are literally walking down the yellow brick road, or the golden brick road, where each step that you take is a step towards beauty, is a step towards everything that you wished and desired. And just keep on following that, rather than the worry or the concern or the fear or the guilt or the jealousy or the all of those things that were like boulders in our brain, keeping us from flowing towards our prosperity. When you are in the soul, when you are knowing you are that, when you have an understanding of you becoming that, you become mini godlike, you become the person that directs your life to where you want to go. But you also have an acceptance and allowance for the world or the reality that you've stepped into and the limitations of that program that you stepped into. But instead of seeing it as something that's against you, you see it as the adventure. You see it as the tension that creates your next step as well. It can happen. But no, you see those tensions as more from an observer point of view, from the soul's point of view. So you don't have to get entangled in it logically and replay it over and over in your head and say that that's the only way out, is to follow the advice of logic that has no understanding or comprehension of where your soul could actually take you. So yeah, prosperity card. Wow, guys. You know, it's funny. It's got 43 here for eternal spirit and 42 for prosperity. So, I mean, to come out that way, the opposite way, like we'd have prosperity in this card, and then the very next card is your eternal spirit. Well, it's almost like saying, to get to the prosperity, we have to acknowledge the soul, and we have to acknowledge that we are that. And then our outside reality reflects that. It's so cool. The next card that came out is creation, soul expression, something new. Wow. It totally goes with the Ace of Chalice, this card. Soul expression, something new. Each one of us is going to have a unique path to take here. We're going to, so called, as I said in the codes to the fairy tales, put on our Cinderella slipper. It's our glass slipper. It's our one that's connected to us. It's ours that was uniquely put in motion for us to wear, and we are happy doing it, and we can water that. We can like move through our life, through our emotions, knowing that we are on the right path because we're happy in our life again. We don't need to escape this. We will literally live longer because our soul wants to be in our bodies and be in this reality. And so the soul will know exactly how to heal cells and heal things within us. Our mind is not making our body tense because of all of the fear and judgment that we had on ourselves. So our mind has stopped doing that. We are literally learning to trust our soul's connection to heal ourselves and move through our life, stepping into a new creation. So cool, so beautiful. I almost don't want to pull another one of these cards, but they told me to, because soulful appreciation, your eternal spirit, prosperity, creation. Could I get any better? Don't know. There's my logic trying to stop, what's meant to come out. So trust. And then we have that, like, we do have to be careful when we start to have things flowing so well for us, that we're like, our logic might go, oh, this isn't possible. We can't have this forever. You can. There's no reason why you can't. And if you've learnt the lessons of how to get out of something, of how to stop yourself, of how to stop others coming in and infiltrating your reality, of stepping into your power, if someone comes at you, see it as it is. You might react in that moment, but then step aside and see where you've given your power away and why they're reflecting to you. When you start to get the hang of that, you are moving through your life not worrying anymore, not being concerned about the future. You're living in the moment. So let's go to this next. No. Okay. This is interesting because these two cards came out together, right? So what we have here is two completely opposite cards. Freedom and attachment. So this is the journey of the balance that we're longing for and learning about. What does freedom mean to you? And what does attachment mean to you? Freedom, moving on, letting go. Attachment, longing, desperation. And where does longing, desperation come? It comes from a point within us where we're feeling weak and vulnerable. We feel like we don't have power, that we can't move ourselves out of something, that we are stuck and that we're not flowing with. They're literally showing me a bug getting caught in the spider web. And when the bug stops, it's funny. It's like we say to ourselves, well, if we're fighting, if we were meant to pass on and we were meant to die in this, go to the next phase of our life, but not in this body anymore, it's time for us to go. But we're holding on to ourselves so much to not move on or through to the next place out of fear. We literally crumble in this life. And when we crumble in this life, we become in pain, we become intolerant, we feel sad about the world and what it's given us, because we haven't accepted that we are not the body and that we are the soul, and that we can move through this life with they're giving me the word intrepidation, but I don't even know what that word means because I'm not very good at English, and feeling of understanding where our freedom can take us. Our freedom is the fact that we flow with whatever comes, and we see the best of it. In every situation, we accept and we see the best of it. And then we're not persecuted with unlimited laws and restrictions that stop us from becoming evolving in this world, and our soul pushing the limits and the boundaries of reality so that we can be free to explore way more while we're here in this body. They're also showing me the teenager skateboarding, and they do all those tricks, and they're pushing that limit. And then we see them on the YouTube and we go, wow, you can do that. Or they climb up these buildings and free jump over buildings and stuff. Wow, you can do that. Taking things to a real limit. And then we have our logical brain with all the rules and restrictions in it going, you shouldn't be doing this, and you should be wearing a helmet, and you should be, not feeling so free and expansive in your life. You should be sitting behind your desk and doing your work, which feels to them like death in itself, because their spirits want to explore how much they can push the body into something more, how much we can ground untangible exercise and show the world that more is possible through these bodies when our mind is clear and moving through life through freedom rather than attachment to trying to safe haven everything and keep it small, which only kills off this life and the adventure of this life, and then the soul doesn't want to reside here anymore because it can't move, it doesn't feel like there is enough movement, and so it gets caught in this web of stuckness, and it wants to literally leave, and then you end up getting some sort of disease or something wrong with you, or moving into an accident and leaving anyway. We have to nourish not only our bodies, it's a nourishment of the soul, and the soul needs freedom to explore what it truly came here to explore. Yeah, so that's a really beautiful, powerful message as well that's come through. Okay, I will choose. Okay, I'll get one of these, and then we'll get an animal card. We've got quite a few cards here, so we'll get animal cards first. See what the animals have to say. I'm feeling like I can get even more into these messages because I get deeper and deeper into the channeling side of it. And the reading literally becomes easier as I go along. So we've got Ram, perseverance. You have many gifts. No problem can withstand the power of your mind. With patience, you can reach your mountain top. Never give up, and good luck will follow. So guys, we're nearly there. This is the card is saying, for this week and beyond, we are at the top. What's the mountain goat, right? We are at the top of this mountain, and mountain goats can literally go on the side. Like, even if the most dangerous scenario came up at the top of the mountain, it's like, well, I know how to navigate this. And then you just walk on the side like they are walking just normally, even though it's literally vertical. We have so many more advantages when we start to connect to our soul again, and that connection to our soul brings us to the top of the mountain. It shows us that life is a beautiful story. It's a beautiful adventure. It's nothing to hold on to. It's something to move through. It's a challenge, and yet it is extraordinary. It's both of everything. It's just like it's everything encompassed, and that's why acceptance of whatever comes your way as well. Seeing life as interesting. Oh wow, that's interesting that happened to me. Have I got a lesson there that I'd like to learn about myself and where I can go take this? Or and not get caught into the feel sorry for me victim side of it. We're learning to step into seeing life from a different perspective as well, being that we're at the top of the mountain. I'm going to pull one of these as well. These cards I had up on my fridge. I don't even, oh yes I do. I do have the box for these. These are Cheryl Richardson, which is the last name as me, self-care cards. But I used to take a couple of them and just, like this one, respect yourself, and I put it up on my fridge. You can see the sticky tape still there. You're the best judge of what's right for you, right? That was another good little message anyway. So that's another good thing you can do if you want, is to put, up on your fridge really nice statements that would move you forward in this moment. And then maybe in a month's time, clear them off and, restart again, or a week or whatever. So we are into the action of things to achieve. We are moving forward into action. We're literally starting to ground the stuff, ground the nuance, ground the I was going to say nuances. I don't even know what that means either. Ground the new neuron paths that are forming, that were already there in our energy vortex of alignment with our soul. But now we're starting to, when you start to rethink them, think them, and then go, yes, this is a possibility. Then with that, knowing that was a possibility, the action can be taken. It's only when it's sitting in your mind as, oh, that's never going to happen, that it will just sit there in the ether. It will never be grounded. But when we take action, we are achieving. We have achievement. I say, chase your dreams. You may be surprised by where they lead you. Even every deck is saying pretty much the same thing. Take action. The journey to find your lost self begins with one step. One step at a time, guys. Don't try to push this past what the logic can handle. Just one little step at a time. I'm moving forward. Okay, this problem's come up now. I'm addressing that. I'm seeing where my lack is. And then I'm moving forward one little step at a time. And just keep on doing that until you get the hang of where you're going. And these are Alice in Wonderland cards. Let's see what comes up with them. So we have a couple that's come. No need to fear. Remember how powerful you are. All these cards are like showing so much more. It's like in the background, there's her imagination, a flying fish, right? And there's this person on a flying fish, going for that red ball, and she's watching it. Interesting game here. No need to fear. Even if things look a little chaotic and crazy out there, then say, I'm not going to focus in on that. That's bringing me into alignment with that craziness and doesn't make me feel good. So I'm going to leave that. And then we have choices, feeling blocked, restrained. So here's the other restrained card, just like the attachment card. And feeling, we're really starting to understand the feeling between how we're blocking ourselves, how we're attaching to things that we're too scared to move through, and how we can move through. And then it has almost have prizes, trying to please everyone. So even in your reality, as you move through this and you are choosing for you for once and not feeling bad about it, when you start choosing for you and you don't want to feel bad about it, because what happens is when we choose for ourselves, we can sometimes be attached to this people-pleasing energy, and then someone will come along and show you that by going, oh, what about me? And then the guilt gets set in, and then you go back to being restrained again and not choosing you because they're too scared for you to choose you, and they're making you feel guilty. You feel guilty. You decide to take on that energy. But if you decide instead that the prize could be easily if you lit your candle, your light, shined your light and let them go and say, I'm not going to feel guilty about this. I'm still going to choose me and do what I need for me. Then you're actually freeing them from taking responsibility of guiding you in their direction, which is through fear of losing you. So the cards are asking for us to look at that people-pleasing kind of scenario where if you actually chose you and you become the powerful you and showed them, wow, I'm bringing in the abundance that I want. Wow, I've got what I really truly wanted. I don't need anything outside of myself. Then you're freeing them from the responsibility that they tried to push you into their corner of the world. And you are showing them also that this is possible for them as well. Whether they take it on or not is up to them, not for you. But the people pleasing, when we constantly try to only please those outside of us all the time, it literally blocks us into making choices only specifically for them and telling them that their world or their reality is greater than ours and more important than ours. You're choosing their story over yours, even if their story is taking you into feeling bad about yourself, or that you have to be there always for them. So just be aware of that energy as you're moving through creating your abundance and your desired outcomes over the next couple of months. Yeah. Okay, guys, so I will leave it here. It has been absolute grandiose because I really enjoyed just focusing in on the tarots for you. Don't forget, I've got classes every second Monday. Please book in. They're going to be awesome. I've really got the hang of them now. I'm so excited about my next one. Right. Love you guys heaps. Until next time. Bye.